Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank. We're here on the Branford Green, April 15th, which is the traditional Earth Day, and there's a lot going on. A lot of people have shown up here today. There's a lot of booths. We're going to be talking to those that are involved with today. We have a group that came from West Hartford, one from Greenwich. We're going to be showing you a bat. It's just going to be a very interesting program. So April 15th now, for the last several years, what the town of Branford does, along with Guilford Savings Bank, Branford Community Foundation, and Living Wisely and Well on Planet Earth, what they've done is they have put a large trash dumpster here, and they also have provided volunteers with, as you'll see right here in front of us, as they have for many years, gloves, trash bags, and people go out with these, with the supplies, and they clean up the roadsides on the town of Branford, and then they bring the trash back to this dumpster. The idea is to fill up the dumpster, and this event goes on today until 1:30. And I'm speaking with Heather Sweeney. She's the chairman of Branford Earth Day, and she's also the chairman of the Branford Conservation Commission. Great to see you today.
Hi, nice to be here. Thanks for being here. Yes, I've been working with Living Wisely and Well to organize the fair. And once again, we're doing the cleanup. And it's really important to keep the trash and the litter out of our streams and out of our waterways, because any of it can hurt marine mammals and wildlife and river wildlife as well.
And we do have those in Branford, right? We've got beaver, right? And all kinds of animals and,
Right.
that live in the rivers and the lakes. I mean, Long Island Sound, right? There's a whole bunch of water bodies we have here in Branford, all types, right, Heather?
Right. It's
Yeah,
really a
yeah.
privilege we have
Yeah.
to live on the shore. And so with that comes
Yeah.
an added responsibility, because we are so close. Our trash has an easier pathway to the sound.
That's right. You're right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So there's quite a number of booths and Branford residents here today, isn't there?
Yes, we have several sections of the fair. You can come learn about ways to have a more sustainable way to live. We have sections on home, garden, energy, and we have some hands-on fun for people.
Yeah, and also, right, there's entertainment. You got a band, right? Shore Grass is playing right
Yes.
behind us, right?
Right. We're really grateful to our sponsors of the Guilford Savings Bank and the Branford Community Foundation for a grant that made having the live music possible today.
It's really good and right to have that Shore Grass, have that band playing here. It really adds to the atmosphere.
Right. We want to also have a way to bring joy to people.
Yeah.
Today is a celebration of things that we have learned, that we can learn from each other, of things that we can do to live lighter on the earth and help take care of the flora and fauna that live here also.
Yeah, because I mean, right, this is our Earth, and it's the only one we have, and we have to take care of it appropriately.
Exactly.
Now, I mean, can you give us an idea as to who's here, and from where they're from?
Yes. I love the Branford library system, and we're fortunate enough to have the Blackstone Library here with their library of things. So in addition to books, you could check out a telescope, or they have a kilowatt meter that helps you determine what appliances in your home are using how much energy.
Wow.
So that's a local entity that's represented. Some folks came from West Hartford with Sierra Club. We also have a woman from out of state teaching us about bats and how they are a part of the ecosystem, and somebody from Greenwich, a wide variety of people.
That's great. Back in the old days, right, the cleanup day, which was Earth Day, was organized by Brian Festa. He was on the RTM, and he passed away. And So he did it for quite a few years, and then I believe it kind of stopped for a while. But then, right, it started up again by you, I believe. You started up, what, 4 or 5 years ago?
That predates my time on the commission, but that sounds about right,
Yeah.
about 5 years ago.
So it's great to have it back. And Branford is pretty clean. I mean, I can't think of any roadside or any stream bed. No, you
In
can't?
places it is,
Is it
and
bad?
maybe it's because people have worked to keep those clean, but there are some places like along the corridor on exit 54 where there's a good bit of trash, and sometimes the wind carries it, but
Yeah.
sometimes, I say it's like the one dish in the sink phenomenon. If there's one dish in the sink, the next person might put their dish in the sink. It's the same thing with trash.
Oh.
There's already trash here, it doesn't matter, and then it just compounds and becomes a larger problem.
Back, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, they used to advertise on TV, right? Keep a litter bag in the car with you, and then, don't throw it out the window. So that's actually still pretty good advice, right?
It is. It is. I've asked here if people have ideas of how to reduce one of our greatest sources of litter, which are those nip bottles, and a bag in the car would be a great way to keep them off of the grounds.
They've only been around a few years, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I used to walk the roadsides for years, and I never saw them until the last couple of years. They've gotten very popular, like the nip bottles, as you say.
Right. Pretty much any walk anywhere will lead you to discover some on the ground.
True, it's true. So anyway, right, if you're not here today, April 15th, 2023, right, there's always Earth Day next year, so you can plan, to attend. You can also start, keeping your eyes peeled for areas of town that, can use a good cleanup, and right?
Exactly. And there are resources out there. If you're wondering about one little thing that you can do, there are some great resources online. Simple matters like composting in your yard. And we're really fortunate in Branford that the transfer station is collecting food scraps. So you can get free bio bags that are compostable. They'll degrade. Put your food scraps in there and take them to the transfer station. And that's really important because we're having a waste crisis in Connecticut. Too much waste, not enough places to put it. And another problem from food scraps is in the landfill, they can create methane, which is a greenhouse gas.
Oh, that's great. That's a great idea, right? So take your food scraps up to the transfer station on East Main Street for free bags. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's been great talking with you. You've organized a fantastic event today that's very well attended, and the weather cooperated with you too, Heather. You're very lucky.
We are lucky, and many hands make light work.
Yeah.
It's been a joy to work with the folks from Living Wisely and Well to help organize this. Couldn't have done it alone.
That's great to hear. Speaking with Heather Sweeney, she's the director of this Earth Day Fair today, and she's also chairman of the Branford Conservation Commission. So let's go over now. I'm dying to talk and see the bat, so stay with us. Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank continues our coverage, Branford Earth Day Fair and Community Cleanup. Branford Green today, April 15th, 2023. And we're here with the bat. It's in the cage there in front of Maureen Heitman. She's here from East Hampton, Connecticut, the Wing Hand Rehab and Education Group. So it's great to see you today, Maureen.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and giving me this opportunity to talk about bats. There are more than 1,400 kinds of bats in the world, and all of them are beneficial. They pollinate plants, they disperse seeds, and they control insects. More than 500 agricultural crop plants rely on bats for insect control and or pollination, and 530 flowering plants also. So more than 1,000 species of plants rely on bats for either insect control or pollination or seed dispersal. So we'd be in real trouble without bats. A lot of the foods that we take for granted on our kitchen tables would not be there if not for the effort of bats.
Can you tell me how you developed your interest in bats, Maureen?
Yes. When I was a child, about 5 years old, one flew on into our apartment in Brooklyn, New York. It was broad daylight. A building was being torn down in the neighborhood, and the bats were suddenly homeless, flying around. They were frantic. Our window was open. It was a hot day. A bat flew in. My mother went nuts. She slammed the window shut and attacked the bat with a broom. She put a newspaper on her head. She was afraid it would get tangled in her hair, which is another myth that does not happen. But anyway, she didn't know that. But to make a long story short, I was watching this whole crazy scene, and I went over to the window, opened it, the bat flew out, and I fell in love.
Ever since?
Ever since.
So, how about this bat, the one that you brought with you? Can you tell us about that
Yes.
bat, Maureen?
Yes, this bat is a big brown bat, Eptesicus fuscus, and it is one of 9 kinds of bats that live in Connecticut. All of the bats here eat insects, and each bat has kind of a specialty. A big brown bat eats a lot of insects that destroy garden crops, moths and beetles that will attack all kinds of plants. So, and they also eat mosquitoes, but they tend to eat larger insects. So they're more beneficial to gardeners, and even if you have a home garden, and definitely for larger agricultural farms and such, they're very, very important. I don't know, did I already say that bats save farmers in the United States approximately $50 billion a year?
Yeah, because they do the pollination.
They do the insect control, and some bats pollinate.
Yeah.
But in places like Texas, Mexican free-tailed bats eat tons and tons of insects every night, and they save cotton farmers and corn farmers huge amounts of money every year.
Now, how about the population of bats here in Connecticut? I mean, how is that? Is it growing or shrinking?
Unfortunately, bats all around the world, the populations are declining due to various reasons. Climate change, habitat destruction are huge ones. But there is a fungus known as white nose syndrome, which was carried over from Europe over to a cave in upstate New York. And in Europe, the bats co-evolved with it. So there's no huge mortality rate. Whereas when it came here, it was an invasive. The bats had and have no resistance to it. So they're dying in the millions. About 9 million bats have died from white nose syndrome so far, and it's still on the move, unfortunately. It was recently, a few years ago, found in Texas, which is really unfortunate. It's a cold-loving fungus that attacks bats while they're hibernating, and we were hoping that it wouldn't move as far south and west as it has. But yeah, initially it was in New York, New England, that area, but it's on the move.
That's really tragic to hear.
It's very tragic, especially for someone like myself, who's been working with bats my whole life, essentially, and gradually changing the opinion, of the populace.
Yes.
Good. And then to have this horrible thing strike.
Yeah.
Certain colonies of bats seem to be somewhat recovering, and the hope is that they will pass on their immunity to their pups.
Good.
Bats give birth to 1 pup a year, though. Most bats. There are some exceptions. I won't go into, I don't know how much time you have, so I won't go into it. But big brown bats sometimes can have twins. Little brown bats and most of what are known as myotis species bats give birth to just one pup a year.
I see.
So even if they were to develop immunity, it will take a really long time to come close to the number of bats that have been lost
Yeah,
due to white nose syndrome.
I see.
So I encourage people to put up bat houses. They need to be placed in a warm area at a certain height. 12 to 16 feet is best. But you can always contact me for any questions about bats,
Sure.
or if you find one that needs help, because I rehab them.
Oh, you rehab them. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you should find, what?
A
With a
grounded
broken wing?
A grounded bat. They're grounded
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just exhausted and just need some food and water. Sometimes it's injury. Very rarely are they ill. Almost never do I have a bat that's ill come in. But yeah,
How many do you have right now?
right now I'm not at my peak because I've released a lot that
Really?
I kept for overwinter. I had about 26 over the winter, and now I'm down to 6. And this guy is one of them.
Okay.
And he will be released.
Okay, well, that's great. Thank you so much for telling us all about bats. If people want to reach you, how can they reach you, Maureen?
Gosh, over the, I have cards here, but that doesn't help. My name is Maureen Heitman. Can I give the phone number?
Yeah, sure.
My phone number is 860-267-6128, and you can call me with any questions or if you have found a grounded bat.
Would you give the number again, please?
Yeah, 860-267-6128.
Well, thank you so much for coming down here to the Branford Green, all the way from East Hampton, Connecticut, and thanks for your great work.
Thank you for having me. It is very important.
Yeah.
Bats are so important to the environment.
People don't realize it.
They don't.
Yeah.
They have a fear that's unfounded.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Bats need to be a lot more afraid of us. And we do not need to be afraid of them.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Thank you very much. So, Branford Earth Day Fair and Community Cleanup, our coverage continues. Stay with us. Okay, we're here with Samantha now from the Sierra Club. The Sierra Club was started by John Muir, and one of the first things he and the Sierra Club did was, they preserved Yosemite National Park, right?
Wow, you know stuff, huh?
A little bit, yeah.
So Sierra Club was started in 1892 by John Muir as a hiking club. And so it was in San Francisco. He would go with groups of people to go hike in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And, that experience of being in nature, I know we all still feel it today. It's incredibly therapeutic and transformative, and
For sure, yeah.
and so they evolved from hiking to land conservation, including Yosemite and other parks, and starting the National Park Service. And fast forward to today, we're still doing that work, but also really tackling the major issues of our time, climate change being foremost of them. Yeah.
That's great. Now, is there any Sierra Club activities going on here in our state?
Yes. So the Sierra Club National Organization has been around for a very long time, and so has our Connecticut chapter. We've been in existence for 50 years, doing work here in the state, and we're here with our table today in Branford, talking about some of the issues that we're working on here in Connecticut. It includes the legislative session, so trying to get good environmental legislation passed.
Yeah.
And also we're focusing on sharing information about a forest that we're trying to save. Remington Woods is a 422-acre forest in Bridgeport and Stratford that's under threat of development, and we're trying to ensure that it gets preserved in perpetuity for the people of Bridgeport.
I think that's a great idea. I've heard about Remington Woods, so I hope you're successful with that.
Thank you. I hope we are too. You can sign our petition
Yeah.
to save it, and invite folks to visit our website, Connecticut www.sierraclub.org to find out more about the work we're doing. And if folks are listening to this and want to sign the petition as well, you'll find it there.
So it's Connecticut.Sierra, SIERRA club.org. That's the website. So
Correct.
you can get more information. And thanks for coming down all the way from West Hartford today to be with us here on the Branford Green.
Yeah, thank you. It's a lovely place to be.
Speaking with Samantha from the Sierra Club of the Connecticut chapter. So stay with us. All right. Thanks a lot, Samantha.
Yeah, thank you too.
Yeah. Okay, I'm standing in front of the Save the Sound booth, and very important that we save, of course, Long Island Sound. You know, Branford's right on the water, and you know, the rivers, both Branford River and the Farm River, they all drain into Long Island Sound. So it's very important. And if you're interested in that effort, contact Save the Sound. Okay, stay with us. Our coverage continues here on the Branford Green. Okay, I'm speaking with Katie McNichol here. She's the Blackstone Library Director. And, as they said earlier on our program, right, the Blackstone has a huge book collection, and, right, they can get you any book you want, even if they don't have it, right?
That's correct.
But it's not just for books anymore, right, Katie?
That's right. We're here today showing off some of our library of things. So in addition to the books, the ebooks, the audiobooks, we have an evolving collection of things that you can take out. So we have started a seed library. We have gotten donations from growers in the community, from organizations who have seeds. We've collected lots of different types of seeds, and we're making them available to the community to take home, grow, let their plants go to seed at the end of the season, and then hopefully collect those seeds, bring them back to the library, and we'll put them out again next year for more people to take. Wow. It's a nice sustainable option, we hope.
That's good. And those are the seeds that you have over there, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now also, this is a big item. This is like a big tube. What's that, Katie?
This big tube is our telescope. Oh. So part of our library of things is a telescope. It's a long-term loan from the New Haven Astrological Society. And actually, I'm sorry, it's the Astronomical Society. I always mix those two up.
Well, they're similar.
Yes, so it's a long-term donation from the New Haven Astronomical Society. And it's a 4.5-inch Orion Star Blast telescope. So you can see the moon, you can see rings of Saturn on there. Wow. And so people can check it out for 2 weeks at a time.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, we have lots of other things with our library of things. What I thought would be neat for today is this kilowatt. It's a meter reader, so you can plug it into different devices and let you know how much electricity you're using. Oh. So this people can take home. Everything in our library of things goes out for 2 weeks. So we have sewing machines, circuitry kits, lots of hands-on learning opportunities.
Wow, that's great. So there's a lot to do, a lot to see, a lot to check out, at the Blackstone Library. And, if you haven't been in to the library recently, you're in for a big surprise because there's a new wing on now, right? A new front entrance kind of at the back, right?
Yep. So we extended our entrance closer to the parking lot, and we added about 2,000 square feet in this beautiful new lobby. It's really easy for people to access. If it's raining, they're right there. And our express pickup shelves are there, so anybody, you can put book on hold. When it comes in, it's ready. We actually check it out to you, put it on the shelf, and then you can just walk right in, grab it off the shelf, and go. So it's a really easy way to get the items that you're looking for.
The Blackstone was very careful with the new wing, right? Because they even bought the white marble, right? It's the same quarry, right? That the old building was from, right?
Exactly. The quarry was still in operation over 125 years later. So they sourced the stone from that same quarry that the original building is from. It's Tennessee white marble. And so when they actually designed the building, initially they designed it to match the rest of the building, but the historical office.
They didn't want it. They wanted it to look different, right?
Just different enough that you could tell it was not part of the original building. So when you look at it, it flows really nicely, but it's more obviously a new addition.
Yeah.
The other neat thing about that new lobby is the terrace on top. So there's stairs you can climb up on the outside, sit out there.
That's the Cosgrove Terrace, right?
It is the Cosgrove Terrace. Yep.
Yeah, it came out beautiful.
In nice weather, you can always see people out there studying, having lunch. It's a really neat spot. Yeah.
Great place, Blackstone Library, great resource here in Branford. So check it out. And thanks for being with us, Katie McNichol, the Blackstone director.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, I'll see. I'm going to take this with me.
All right. Excellent.
All right. Around the town of Branford with Henry and Frank, our coverage continues. Branford Earth Day Fair and Community Cleanup, April 15th, Earth Day 2023. Speaking with Liam Garrity, he's a volunteer with the Branford Fire Department. Hello, Liam.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. So, can you tell us the status of volunteer firefighters in Branford now?
At the moment, we're a little scarce. We could always use some more help. I mean, we have as many guys as we can, as we need just to get the job done. But we can always use some more help. And it's like, for me, I work a full-time job, and a lot of these guys, we all work normal jobs. We're just ordinary people, and we doing doing something fun and something to get out there, a little extra, extracurricular kind of thing to do. And I love to, be able to do what actual paid firefighters are doing. But, not
it's tough because
on my time.
You're working full time, and so if the alarm goes off during the day, I mean, you can't really come, right? You've got to work.
Well, no, I mean, realistically, no, we can't always get out there. We've had a lot of fire calls in the middle of the day where, there's only the paid firefighter guys, and then there's East Haven and Guilford. We'd have to call down for help because there's just not enough people in the middle of the day. But usually, after regular business hours, there's usually guys, and we'll be up sometimes in the middle of the night. Some of us would be out there 3 a.m. and then go to work afterwards.
So anyway, there are volunteer companies all over town, right?
Yeah, there's 3 of them right now. 4 of them. I'm sorry. They're kind of on every section of town. Starting from Stony Creek all the way to Short Beach. All of them, they're kind of just a few members each. Great group of people, a lot of wise, fun people to talk to. And, a lot of times, we do have a lot of fun, just kind of practicing, doing what we have to do, to stay in check.
Okay, now, so the Branford Volunteer Firefighters, is there anything that the town gives you?
So we get a stipend every year. It's about starting $650, $700 every year. It's not much, but it's just something that you get if you respond to 40 calls, which really is not much. It adds up so quick. It could be a full structure, fully involved structure, God forbid, or it could just be a lot of fire alarms or just minor accidents that would be be there for. So,
how about the stipend? How does that work?
So it's kind of just
or pension. I mean, pension, right? It's a pension.
Yeah, you get pension credits. I'm not sure. I think it counts towards a small pension, at the end.
Because the RTM and the Board of Finance, they put aside, money into an account for the volunteers' pension in the future.
Yeah. We get pension credits for every year we make it the quota of 40 calls a year. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't, you could always just be part of the fire department and just respond to like one call a year or not even do anything. You could just be there and like help us out with a lot of events like these where we're trying to promote this as like a normal thing, as it's starting to diminish nowadays because people like, I understandably, like, you want to spend your time, you have to, your time is very valuable, but to me it's like, it's just something fun to do and like get involved, and like I get like a nice edge on the community.
It's true. No, you're helping out big time. So this is from the MP Rice company. That's a volunteer company, right?
Correct. Yeah. This is the one right across from Richland's.
I drive by there 8:00 at night, and I see the door open and everybody's in there with smiles on their faces. And I almost feel like stopping in and saying, put me to work here.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we're always happy. Like, our doors are always open. Like, to anybody can just walk right up and just be like, hey, I'm interested in volunteering, or just say hi to us. We're not going to bite you. I guess is the best way to describe it. We're just ordinary people, live in town.
You get training?
Absolutely. Yeah. You get Fire One certification, and that's all covered by the town. There is a demand for EMTs nowadays. That's like another certification, which is also paid for by the town if you want to get that.
You can get that, really? An EMT certification?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's big. I mean, and then you can actually use that as a job, right?
Yeah.
For a paid job in the future, yeah?
I think there's some more training you have to do if you want to get the paid position.
I'm sure, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The volunteer, I know that they're just kind of like handing it out like candy because they really need help.
So anyway, if you're interested in being a volunteer firefighter, be sure to reach out to them. They are all over town, like Liam said, Stony Creek, MP Rice across from Richland Plaza, and then there's one in Pine Orchard. There's Pine Orchard too, right?
Yep, right over by Lenny's.
And there's that one too.
That new one they just built over there.
Yeah, which came out beautiful. Yeah.
Plenty of room for people to, and like, it's also like kind of a place to hang out too. We kind of like, sometimes we staff like where we'll just kind of, especially on a snow night, like if we're not busy, like some of us will just stay behind and we'll actually sleep there overnight, hang out, watch TV, wait for calls to come in, and just be ready. And if you really want to do it, if you don't want to do it, and you could still be a firefighter,
try it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just try it out. Just something to do, and it's definitely something to be proud of. Too.
Very proud of.
And I put on my resume too, so it actually helped me get a job.
That's wonderful. It's good all the way around.
Yeah.
It's good for you, good for the town.
Yeah. Even like we do have paid guys, like, because we need them. Of course.
You need them, absolutely. They're all trained EMTs too.
Yeah.
They're the best in the biz.
Oh, yeah, and paramedics.
Yeah.
Every firefighter is an EMT.
Yeah,
it's every paid firefighter.
Yeah.
But volunteers could just be firefighters or EMTs, whatever. Or you could just stand. You could actually be there on the scene. You can be an exterior firefighter too.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go into the burning building. You could help. You could do. There's a lot of help that's needed, even on the outside of the fire ground, especially.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks a lot for telling us all this information. If you have any interest in becoming a Branford volunteer firefighter, as Liam Garrity said, just drop in at your local firehouse in Branford and, offer yourself, you want to get involved.
It's very, very rewarding, and I hope to see, like the volunteer fire department grow, just the way it used to be.
Yeah, and that's true. Okay, thanks a lot, Liam Garrity, for being with us. Okay, so now we're going to get back to business and talk to somebody else here that's at the Branford Earth Day Fair and Community Cleanup. Stay with us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, we're just about to wrap our coverage here on the Branford Green. We're going to speak to Margaret in just a moment. She's from Living Wisely and Well on Planet Earth, one of the major organizers of today's event here on Earth Day on the Branford Green. But I just wanted to point out that we're being entertained today by Shore Grass. And that's the band behind me in the tent. You can see there's people around them enjoying the music. There's a banjo, a guitar, looks like a ukulele. Unfortunately, we can't bring you the music due to copyright, but we just wanted you to, have a look at the band Shore Grass. They're playing here today from 11 until 1. Okay, so right now let's go over and talk to Margaret at Living Wisely and Well on Planet Earth. Stay with us. Okay, this is Margaret Sipple. She's a coordinator of Living Wisely and Well on Planet Earth, one of the main organizers of Earth Day today, along with the sponsors, Guilford Savings Bank, Town of Branford, Branford Community Foundation, and Living Wisely and Well on Planet Earth. Now, as I remember, you were involved with Earth Day 2022, right?
Correct. And this year we have 3 times as many exhibits. So we're so thrilled.
It's grown. And I mean, take a look at everybody that's here and the beautiful trees. They're all out right on schedule for your event here. And the other thing, right, it was all overcast until just now, really. And look at the sky now. So everything came out for you really well today.
We were so lucky. We're so grateful that that happened.
Now, can you tell me about your organization? Do you have, do you meet? Are you from Branford?
We are. We're a Branford organization that started about 4 years ago. It started actually at Trinity Church here. We had a Lenten program and decided we'd open it to the community. And it was all about living wisely and well on planet Earth. And so after we had so many community members interested, we decided we'd make it a community organization, which it is now.
I see.
We still get a lot of support from Trinity, but it's really...
Sharon Grayson, she was the former senior minister of Trinity. She was one of the founders, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she was great. A great minister. So what type of things do you do? This is important today, which you do every year, but what else do you do all year?
What else we do is to make some presentations. We usually have 2 or 3 series of speakers a year. And during the pandemic, they were all on Zoom. Since then, we're having them back at Trinity, and they can be live streamed and available to people who don't want to come in person. So we just had our most recent series was on 3 of the town commissions and the work they've done.
Okay.
Well, I think our main goal is to help spread the good news of what's being done to help us create a more sustainable future for our kids.
That sounds great. And if you're new to Branford, we've talked about Trinity Church a couple times. It's the white church. They're right behind us here on the Branford Green.
Yes.
So as far as your upcoming events at Trinity, do you have a schedule for like May or?
We don't have any plan for May. We spend so much time organizing the fair that since this is our 2nd year on the fair, that's pretty much takes most of our energies. We have a steering committee, and we're so happy to have Heather Sweeney this year from the Conservation and Environment Commission, who helps us with some funding from her commission and who was wonderful to get the grant for the band.
Yes.
And we also had Ivy from the Bigelow from the Community Forest Commission, and they were great additions. Ann Freeman, Melanie Trakowski, and Michaela Bracken, and my husband Peter and I make up the steering committee of the Living Wisely and Well.
If people want to get involved with your organization, how can they reach out to you?
Okay, go to our website, www.livingwiselyandwell.org, and there's a place to sign up for our email list. We have a big email list, and we can keep in touch that way.
Okay, that's great. So it's www.livingwisely, A-N-D, spell it out, livingwiselyandwell.org for the website. So, okay, and there's your sign right there. Yeah, really beautiful. Well, this was a great day, for Branford and for, Cleanup Day and Planet Earth Day. came out beautiful.
It did.
Yeah.
We're so grateful to see the interest, the growing interest in the community. We want to just reach our hands out to the next generations and say we can do this together.
Well, that's great. That's great. Been speaking with Margaret Sipple, and she's the coordinator of Earth Day today, and also a coordinator for Living Wisely and Well in Branford. That's a goal for all of us, right? To live wisely and well in Branford.
Yes, absolutely. Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
So anyway, that concludes our coverage here on the green, and now we're gonna put the camera in our van and drive around a little bit and see if we can find some volunteers cleaning, the roadsides or trails or the stream beds, of trash. And so hopefully we'll be able to locate some of that, and we'll cover that for you too. So stay with us. Around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank continues. Okay, so we just left the Branford Green, and we're still covering Earth Day in Branford for you around the Town of Branford with Henry and Frank. And we just arrived here at Hosley Avenue, and this truck belongs to Matt Halley, and you can see the trash that Matt has collected. There's a bed frame here and a lot of trash in these bags. Now, this trash is going to be taken by Matt back to the Branford Green, and as we showed you before, thrown into that dumpster that's there on the green, for all the trash that's collected today on Earth Day. So, and he's up the road a little ways behind us here, collecting trash. So that's what Earth Day is all about, cleaning up the town and also having that great fair on the Branford Green. And it goes every year on Earth Day, so April 15th, 2024, they'll have one. And just be sure that you're a part of it. They do supply, right, the trash bags and the gloves for you. And, keep a trash bag in your car, so don't throw anything out the window. And start looking now which parts of town, along which roads, along what stream beds, river beds, in the rivers, in the streams, the brooks, you should pick out a certain spot that you want to clean up in 2024 Earth Day when it rolls around again. So it's been great to be with you today, and I'm Frank Toohill for Henry Pond. Until next time, keep it clean and goodbye.